يقول أحمد المفوض إلى الأمر ويرتدي إلى يقول أحمد المفوض إلى الأمر ويرتدي إلى
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سدد لساني نوّر جناني صفي أماني وزد براهي barkeb borom Touba. In the name of Allah the Almighty, in the name of Al-Malik, the King, the true King, the King of mankind, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness Muhammad is his final prophet and messenger. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the longest and healthiest life to our Khalif Sheikh Muhammad Muntaha Mbacké. May he live hundreds of years. Assalamu alaikum again, welcome to your favorite show, Al-Mouridiyyah. Today I'm honored to be joined by my brother, Jawrin Abdoulaye Wade, the President, and my two wonderful guests, Mr. Moussa Sow and Jawrin Pape Assane Diouf. It's always a pleasure to be on Al-Mouridiyyah and to talk about Islam in general and Murid in particular. And today, as we are looking forward to the celebration of the birth of the Prophet, we are here to talk about how beautifully Sheikh Ahmad Bamba described the physical features of the Prophet. And in addition to that, we'll talk about how those descriptions serve to inspire Murid, the Murid community. And finally, we will also reflect upon how this description made by Sheikh Ahmad Bamba influence the identity of Murid and its values. So I'm going to give the floor, first of all, to my assistant, Mr. Abdoulaye Wade, to start the show. Bismillah.
Yes, thank you very much, Jawrin Seydou. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I began with just like prayers, as you did it, for long life to our Khalif, Serigne Muntaha Mbacké, and all the Murids, the Murid community. And pray also that we just like assist this year again the MAOULOud, and that God accept everything we are doing. So it's an honor to be here with you all, and I'm very happy to share this show with Jawrin Moussa.
My pleasure.
Yes, and Jawrin Pape Assane.
Thank you.
So I'm very happy to be here, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure we'll have time to introduce to let them introduce themselves. You'll go straight to the questions, and in the meantime, you can also introduce yourself and say a few words to our followers. As I said, we are here to talk about how beautifully Sheikh Ahmad Bamba describes the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him. So, while you introduce yourself, you can tell us how does Sheikh Ahmad Bamba describe the physical features of the Prophet in his prose and poetry.
Thank you very much for inviting us again here in this great show in Touba, the Holy City. First of all, let's wish long life and good health to our Caliph Muntaha Mbacké, and also the Khalif of Baifal and all the Muslim communities. And we wish you also, rewards in this holy month, Rabiul Awwal. Thank you really to be part in this show with my dean, Pape Assane Diouf, and our president, Abdoulaye Wade. So this question is important. Saint Touba has emphasized, the physical, how can I say, the physical
features
of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in many qasida. But let's take one of his pentagrams, like Jazbul Khulub, where he said, "Khat kana zata wasuti, bil qaddi jali suduti, walam yakun bil mufrati, walam yakun bil adami, walam yakun muttahama, walam yakun mukalsama, bal faha kulla man sama min muntamin li adami. Kana yatulu kulla man ما شاء في كل زمن وكان واسع العتن يضحك بالتبسم وهو جليل قلب بياضه مشرب بحمرة وأهدب وأنجل ذو رسم يفتر في أثنى ابتسام كالبرق أو حب الغمام وضحكه يجلو الظلام كسرج في ظلم وجهه مدور وهو حميث أزهر وهو بهي أسمر مرتل تكلمي. So to clarify or to translate this, we can say that the Prophet ﷺ was always outshone anyone who walked beside him. And he had a broad chest and only laughed with a smile. He used to laugh with a smile. And he was distinguished, changeable in his various features, like his whiteness, meaning his skin was slightly mixed with redness. His whiteness was slightly mixed with redness. He had abundant eyelashes. Eyelashes was abundant. Also, he had teeth spaced out. His teeth was spaced out, but bright. That's why Sintuba emphasized that when he smiled, there is a light that will, send away, pass away all the darkness. So he let out a smile whose brilliance was like lightning on a speck of cloud, and his laughter dispelled the darkness like torches in the darkness. Also, his face was round. He had a fine belly. He was radiant, splendid, of a colored complexion. He articulated his word harmoniously. He got fasaha, fasaha. His word was clear when he was, speaking. Also, his pierced cheeks seemed to be covered with a golden liquid. He had a slender stature. His nose had a beautiful shape. That's what we can say about his feature, about his appearance.
His physical
Even
feature.
Shaun Obama has written a lot of verses about his appearance.
All right, we will come back to that and maybe talk about, choose very specific verses where he talked about his qualities and his physical features. Jorin Hassan, as Mr. Sow, Musa Sow, just raised the point of the physical features of the Prophet. Anything to add before you move on to the significance? Because when Shaun Obama decided to write about his physical features, it is meant for something. So what is the significance of doing making this physical description of the Prophet in terms of spiritual symbolism, and how do this description inspire his followers?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Clement, the Merciful. Thank you, Brother Seydou. Thank you to President Blaiwad and Mr. Musa Sow. Long life and good health to our Khalif General Sheikh Muhammad Muntakha Mbacké. And my congratulations also to all the Murid and the Muslim brothers all over the world, especially during this month of Rabiul Awal, in which our Holy Prophet was born. So, as Serigne Musa said, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, Serigne Seydou, that the Prophet was the central theme of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's panegyrics, because the Sheikh himself considered making praise and praying on the Prophet as a form of serving him. He said in one of his khasaid, "Akhdimuhu bi madhi was salat." I'm going to serve him by praying on him, but also by showing how honored he is, by glorifying him. That is why I'm going to say in all his poems, the central theme was the Prophet Muhammad.
Central.
Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba has in many times shown the highest and spiritual rank of the Prophet, his preeminence and primacy above all creatures, the choice and the preference Allah made on him, the favors and the prophet related to his birth and the month and the night, his matchless honorable qualities, the endless favors Allah granted him, the holiness of his lineage, his special physical character and moral qualities, his outstanding miracles, his message to humanity as a whole, etc. So these are some of the different themes related to the Prophet that we have in Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's writing, and his family, his companions, the holy books that he had, the Quran, etc. So if the Sheikh insists on the physical character of the Prophet, the objective was only to make us love him. Because if Allah has chosen someone, that one is not really someone, an ordinary person. That is why Allah had also chosen the Prophet, as the Sheikh said, وَهُوَ أَكْمَلُ الْوَرَى خَلْقًا وَقُلْقًا زَهَرًا وَالْمِثْلُ قَطُّ لَنْ يُرَى وَلَنْ يُرَى فِي الشِّيَمِ. He was the most perfect human being or creatures in terms of physically, but also in terms of moral quality. He was matchless. He said that his equal has never come and will never come. That is why the physical characters of the prophets, we did not find all of them in one person. The Sheikh started with the head, as Musa said. A round head, very fair, curly hairs. Then he comes to the cheeks, shining as if there was gold on them. Then he comes to the chest, which was very broad. Then he comes to the gait, the height. He was not so tall, but not short. But the miracle there was, whoever is standing next to him, the Prophet, is always over. But you cannot say that he was a tall man. He did not bend when he was walking. Never. He was walking swiftly, very rapid in walking. Even if he is in front of you, you cannot space him. Yes, you have to run. And all this to show us that he was an extraordinary man and to make his people love him. That is why one day I heard one of our during Seigne Atujan saying that if people say something that is not really good to the Prophet, he has to go and read Jazbul Qulub in order to feel happy. Because the description that the Sheikh made on the Prophet really made him happy when he's reading him. And that is really reality. When you read Jazbul Qulub and you see the physical description, you love the Prophet because you will see that this is an extraordinary man. Really, that is what I can say and what I can add according to the objective that the Sheikh himself had to make the physical description of that holy person.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I think both of them were very exhaustive and they answered clearly to the question. Of course, we can't talk about everything Sheikh Bamba wrote about the Prophet in one show, or in there is no limit on what we can say about Sheikh Bamba writing about the Prophet. Anything you go from the question number 1 to question number 2, just summarize how he described it and what is the significance of the description.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jawrin. I think, as you said it, my two Jawrins were so exhaustive while answering to that question. And it means that Serigne Touba just like brought everything we had to know about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because, you know, when we see how the Prophet is described in Jazbul Qulub, as Jawrin Papa said it, just like come in us is just that love we feel toward that person that was just like very perfect the way that he is created. And it is also something that should push us to mind about that when God chose him, that was for a reason. I mean, he had to be perfect. He had to be perfect. When Serigne Touba says وَهُوَ أَكْمَلُ الْوَرَى خَلْقًا وَخُلْقًا, meaning, I mean, the physical aspect and the interior aspect,
the moral qualities.
Yes, that is because he had to be the perfect one, and God, I think, had to show that this one
is the best creature.
Yes, he's the best creature. For sure. And when we mind about also Serigne Touba and his writings, the fact that he talked about some things that seems to be just like details, like the way he was laughing, for instance, saying that the Prophet didn't used to laugh out just like louder. He was just smiling. I think it is also sometimes something that should invite us to just like trying to do like him, because of course there are some things in his physical aspect that God made him just like, I mean, that was the creation of God, but also there are some things in his physical aspect that we can try to have, that we can try just like to copy from him. And I think also it is something that maybe pushes him to talk about the physical character.
I'm sorry, Mr. Seydou, I have only something to add concerning the physical character of the Prophet. Historian used to say that even the enemies, they loved him when they look at him physically, because he was really an extraordinary and matchless person in terms of physical character. And Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba compared him to the full moon among the stars. Whenever you saw the Prophet in the group, you will know really that he is the Prophet, even if you don't ask people, because he was really someone very extraordinary above all of them in terms of appearance. He was shining, his character was very clear, and everybody loved him, even if they did not believe in the mission in the Quran and in the call, but they used to love him because his physical character was really something extraordinary.
I'm sorry to cut you short. Can you share some specific verses of Serigne Touba where he described the beauty of the Prophet alongside with his physical appearance?
When you go to Mawahibun Nafi, the Sheikh said, "Qad khama khairul bashari was-saqiyar zumari." He said that during that Battle of Badr, when they gathered to prepare him, when you saw the Prophet standing among the group, he was compared kal badri wassa and jumi. He was compared to the moon among the stars, because he was really has a very imposing gait in the group. So we can have many other verses like them. If you go in Yasuru Rasulullah, the Sheikh said, Muhammadul Mukhtar la khalqa mislahu. That God has never created something compared to him in terms of physical and moral qualities. Muhammadul Mukhtar lam yati misluhu. His equal will never come. Lam yabdu mislul Mustafa Muhammadi. Someone compared to the Prophet will never appear, etc. So we can have many examples like that.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, we are in the month of Rabiul Awal, and we can't talk about the birth of the Prophet. We can't talk about the Prophet without mentioning the month during which he was born. And Saint Touba himself said that Ramadan is my secret, but Rabiul Awal is my own. Whosoever is in my two cities, Touba and Jarem, without getting, during this time, these 2 months, without getting what they want, shall blame only themselves. Which means you must make the most of it during this month of Rabiul Awal, and we'll talk about that in our next show, the celebration of the birth of the Prophet. Mr. So, we have dealt with the physical appearance of the Prophet, his physical features described by Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. Not only did he describe his physical appearance, but he also described his moral qualities. Can you share some of the moral qualities Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba wrote in his Hasaid, talking about the qualities of the Prophet?
Thank you very much for this question. So I do really appreciate what Saint Pape Assane Diouf said about the physical appearance qualities, but the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as Saint Touba said in his Qasaid, that Lam Yadlu Misl Mustafa Muhammadi Sirran wa Jahran. Sirran means in his moral qualities, wa Jahran means in his appearance. Because when we take a part like being somebody who forgives, he was somebody who forgives his enemies. Because I heard about a story that there was somebody who used to throw, next his door, some rubbish, you can say rubbish, some dirty things, and he was doing it many times. Once the Prophet ﷺ get out and didn't see the rubbish, didn't see the dirty things, he asked, where are the person who used to throw it? Is he or she ill or not? And I want you to show me his house, his home. I want to pay him or pay her a visit. When the Prophet ﷺ, peace be upon him, came in his house and found her, he was sick or she was sick. He said, I came here to pay the visit because I didn't see you or I don't see you all these days. What happened to you? Because you used to throw rubbish or bad things, next to my door. He said, and that man or that woman, I don't know, witness, say that, I can witness that you are the best creature in the world. Because how come I harm you, I used to throw rubbish or I used to throw bad things next to your door, and you don't see it and you come to pay me a visit? You would rather maybe punish me or maybe do the same thing that I was doing. The other thing is, he used to, how can I say, to give people who in need. Because I heard about that there was somebody who came in next his house asking for maybe sadaqa or omon. And he was on the way to prepare food for his family, and he told her wife to give him or her all the food. And there are so many, how can I say, so many good behavior that we can describe, because Sayyid Bamba said, khalqan wa khulqan. Khulqan means, you know, the moral qualities. And God, the Almighty, described him, wa innaka la'ala khuluqin azim. And if you go to, you are the best creature by the way of your good behavior. If you go to Muqaddimatul Amdah, in Touba, has, you know, emphasized or has described his moral qualities in so many verses. Yes.
All right.
Maybe we are running out of time.
Yeah, we are. That's why I know. When we talk about Sayyid Bamba's writing, we are so much, you know, animated and so much full of things to say. But I think we have only 5 minutes left, so I'm not going to ask you to further what he said, but to talk about the impact that these qualities described by Sayyid Bamba, this description done by Sayyid Bamba, have on the Murid community. How do these qualities manifest in the practices and values of the Murid community today?
Thank you again to Professor Musa. Mr. Seydou, as you know, the Prophet was the reference for Sayyid Bamba. That is why he is also a reference for Murids. If you allow me, I will come back to Muqaddimatul Amdah, as he said. The Sheikh said, he is the pure, the pious, the virtuous, the repairer, the announcer of good news. He is the famous, the polite, the scrupulous, the well-bred, the warner of those who do not submit their bad deeds and associating Allah. He continues and says, he is the best advisor, and had any bad intention. He is a knowledgeable scholar. He is generous and talks with tender words. These are good qualities. In showing these qualities, the Sheikh wanted also his disciple to take the Prophet as a reference, as an example in all their daily actions. In one of his poems entitled Mashrabu Safi, the Sheikh said that he is not really intending to show the secret of the Prophet because he cannot. But when Allah told him, wa innaka la'ala khuluqin azim, it was a kind of a way to show to people, to say that this is a reference for you, so take him as an example. So in showing the moral quality of the Prophet in his poems, the only intention of the Sheikh was to foster our love, to push us to take the example of the Prophet in our daily life, in our daily actions.
Thank you very, very much. Mr. Shauna is saying it's time, so we will let you continue by saying your last word to our followers before we go on to the next show, inshallah, which is about the birth of the Prophet. We run out of time, so please, your final message.
Okay, I'm really very, very happy to participate to this show. As you know, we cannot really talk about all that Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba say on the Prophet. We have not tackled about the family. And the Sheikh was qualifying him with a holy person chosen among holy persons. He said that all his fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers were very holy persons.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because this is a part of the show, but we run out of time. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Okay. So the Sheikh said that Allah had chosen even the lineage of the prophets to show them that he is really the good seed that you have to sow, because from good seeds you have good crops. So good seeds are the parents, and the good crop is the Prophet Muhammad.
MashaAllah.
Okay.
MashaAllah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Blaiwad, your last word. I wish you could have time to summarize what they said about the moral qualities, but anyway, you have 1 minute to do all that.
No matter. I think they were very clear.
MashaAllah.
By through the answers.
Alhamdulillah.
So it means that the moral qualities of the Prophet were also important because God told us to follow the Prophet, and I think it is important to know his moral qualities in order to know how to behave, how to do in order to be good Muslims. Because the mission he had, he said that he was sent just like show the perfect akhlaq, the makarim al akhlaq. So if we know those akhlaq, it means that those can help us being good Muslims, and God himself
and good Murids,
of course, because a Murid is a good Muslim. Sure. Because God himself described him as innaka la'ala khuluqin azim, as they said it, but also he said that there has come to you a messenger from among yourselves, but grave use to him is what you suffer from, and he is also concerned over you. And to the believers, he is kind and merciful. لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ عَزِيزٌ عَلَيْهِ مَا عَنِتُّمْ حَرِيصٌ عَلَيْكُمْ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. So it is about that prophet that was very, very, very kind, that has all the perfect qualities, and it means that we must know those qualities in order to follow him. Thank you very much.
And be the Shifa, as Baba mentioned in Muwahibu Sifa Suduri. So your last word.
Okay, my last word, I can say Prophet is Shamsu Shumusi. He's the son of the stars. He is the best guided. So as in Touba have shown us the way to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He say Raja'u Jannati bila ta'ati bi sunnatil mahi runiyati. And following maybe his teaching is following his sunnah.
Thank you very much.
It's just listen.
All right.
What I have to advise to all the my fellows or Murid community is to go and check the teaching of Shaykh Bamba. The Hassayat that drive us to learn the jurisprudence, our the hadith. How can I say also the Tawheed? It is obligatory. We have to check anyway, but here everything is here.
All right, thank you very much. If you remember, I mentioned it during our last show when I was talking to Baba Sanjuf. I thought he was watching, and I said that day, we ask you to come and start the rubric, the literal production of Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba.
Okay.
It's so urgent, Hassan. So thank you very much for watching this episode. We will be back for another show about the celebration of the Prophet according to the Quran and Sunnah. طويلنا عمرنا سهل لنا بدنا وهب لنا الرشد والتوفيق يا الله وأولنا يا ربنا حسن الختام عند الممات وهدنا يوم القيامة. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the longest and healthiest life to our Khalif Sheikh Muhammad Muntaha Mbacké. May the son of our Lord for Sheikh Ahmad Bamba continue to rise and shine. Jërëjëf Serigne Touba.
لا